And the answer again is the erythrocyte. So the neutrophil and the lymphocyte and the monocyte and the eosinophil would all be found in the buffy coat, but not the red blood cell. So when you look at a blood smear, and we'll be looking at a histological slide of blood vessels in a little while, most of what you see, most of the cells that you see within the lumen of the vessel, the inside of the vessel, will actually be red blood cells with no nuclei. In the blood vascular system, I'm sure you know that the heart is a four-chambered muscular pump that propels blood throughout the vessels of the blood vascular system. The four chambers of the heart are the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. So when we learn about the heart in elementary school, and we learn that there are four chambers, we somehow get the impression that they fire one at a time, like the cylinders, I guess, in an internal combustion engine. Actually, what happens is that the atria contract at the same time and then relax. The ventricles fill and then contract at the same time and then relax. And the technical term for contraction of either the atria or the ventricles is systole, and the term for relaxation is diastole. When you hear the term systole in talking about blood pressure, it's usually used to refer to ventricular systole, which is the stronger contraction. Between the chambers of the heart and between the large vessels leaving the heart are four large valves. And the valves are shown here superimposed on the heart surface. The tricuspid valve, or right atrioventricular valve, separates the right atrium and the left ventricle. The mitral valve, or left atrioventricular valve, separates the left atrium and the left ventricle. So it's customary to divide the heart into two circulations. They're not really different circulations, they're a continuous circulation. But to refer to the pulmonary or right heart circulation, which receives deoxygenated blood from the body and pumps it to the lungs. In the pulmonary circulation, the sequence of blood passing through the heart is through the right atrium, through the right atrioventricular or tricuspid valve, into the right ventricle, and then into the pulmonary trunk. That divides into the pulmonary arteries, and the blood reaches the lungs. Within the lungs, gas exchange occurs at the interface between the lung alveoli, the very smallest part of the respiratory airway, and very small, thin-walled blood vessels, the pulmonary capillaries. Blood returns from the lungs to the heart through the pulmonary veins and enters the left atrium. So the pulmonary circulation is blood, deoxygenated blood, entering the right heart, pumped through the right heart, going through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs, and back to the left atrium through the pulmonary veins. The definition of an artery and a vein are: first, an artery is any vessel that's traveling away from the heart, whether it has oxygenated blood, as most do, or deoxygenated blood in the case of the pulmonary artery. And the definition of a vein is a vessel that's returning blood to the heart. The systemic circulation is everything that isn't the pulmonary circulation. Oxygen-rich blood from the lungs returns to the heart through the pulmonary veins to reach the left atrium, and the systemic circulation is that oxygenated blood which is pumped in order through the left atrium, through the left atrioventricular or mitral valve, through the left ventricle, through the aortic valve, and then out the aorta for distribution to the rest of the body. So another quiz question now. Which of the following sequences correctly describes the blood flow through the heart during a cardiac contraction?